Haha, you thought it was just Dylan Larkin on the trade request front? Well, not anymore, because Edmonton Oilers defenseman Darnell Nurse has officially requested a trade, agreeing that it's time for a fresh start. Now, I think we all understand why this is coming out in the way that it is. Darnell Nurse is a guy who, by all accounts, is playing on a pretty good team. The Edmonton Oilers were a powerhouse. They were back-to-back Stanley Cup finalists. They did disappoint this season. And Darnell Nurse is going out there with 9.25 million buckaroos per season as his cap hit until 2030. Long ago, Darnell Nurse was literally playing 60-plus minute quintuple overtime games. Now, he is a shell of his former self. I think it's very fair to say that the on-ice play of Darnell Nurse, it was already not particularly fantastic when he started making 9-point-something million, but as of this previously completed season, it's gone down a totally different direction. The Oilers have been bad defensively. Darnell Nurse has been a pretty big part of that, and when it comes to Nurse straight up requesting a trade, agreeing it's time for a fresh start, I honestly doubt it's more of, Darnell Nurse doesn't want to be an Oiler anymore. Darnell Nurse doesn't want to play with McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard and Ekholm anymore. I think it's a lot more of Darnell Nurse understands that his contract is a big hindrance to what the Oilers want to do, and thus he's doing them the favor by saying, yeah, okay, fine, I'm out. I can officially take myself out of a situation where I know I am not valued anymore and that the team wants me out. Nurse has trade protection. He's got a full no-move clause at $9.25 million a season, so if he was going to get traded, it would have to be at his decision, and that seems to be the case here. Because Elliot Friedman went out there and noted that Nurse has asked for a trade. If you go out there and read the article, it's a collaborative piece between Friedman and Mark Spector from earlier this afternoon. As the Oilers navigate hiring Mike Babcock, they continue on another path, finding a new home for one of their longest tenured players, Darnell Nurse. Last week, Mark Spector noted that the Oilers would like to trade Nurse, and according to multiple sources, the defenseman recently went to the organization and said he would like to be traded. He now feels it's time for him to move on. This is critical because Nurse has full no-trade protection until July 1st, so nothing could happen until then without his approval. Those same sources indicate that Nurse is given a list of 3 to 5 teams he would consider. He has the right to limit the number of legit destinations, so we've got some work to do to figure it out. But Nurse, 7th in franchise history in games played, has now agreed that a fresh start is the right outcome. This is what Ryan Rishaug went out there and posted about. He can confirm that Nurse has indeed asked for a trade. Jason Gregor said this: the Oilers need to make a smart decision when trading Nurse. Always available, he has only missed 18 games the past 9 seasons. He can log big minutes, skates well, and is physical. He can chip in offensively at 5v5, and he has 40th in even strength goals and points amongst D-men the past 3 years. He's not a number 1 D-man, but he has value. The Oilers can't afford another trade similar to Stuart Skinner. Now, this is actually diminishing, I'd say, the negative qualities of Darnell Nurse and his overall play. Analytics and eye tests say that he is at best a third-pair guy. Are you really thinking he has any value being paid 2.5 times what he'd get in the open market? Another reply to this entire situation, this is Kevin McCurdy, who posted this: I have 4 things to say about the Nurse situation. First, it is time. No question. And more importantly, it's time for Darnell Nurse to get a fresh look somewhere else where he won't have quite so many preconceptions about him. 2, every single one of you would have signed the contract Darnell did. His contract is not a reflection on him. Nobody ever wants less money. It's a reflection of a team that backed themselves into a corner and panicked. That lesson could be important again this week. Obviously referring to some of the other contracts that could be decided. And the Babcock situation. 3. Darnell Nurse is a leader both on and off the ice. He has been nominated for the King Clancy 4 times and a finalist twice. He has been a loyal soldier to the Oilers for 12 seasons, despite some of the most egregious hate I have seen for a player ever. Number 4, be careful what you wish for. This could very well turn into a one does not simply situation. I wish Darnell the best wherever he lands, and I am grateful for his contributions to the Oilers through significant injuries and unrelenting pressure from an often turbulent fan base. I have offered my own share of criticism of him over the years, but that was always with the perspective that there were good things he brought every single night. And finally, we've got some conversations as to where he could go. This is the juicy part. Evan Atkins, who does reporting... Okay, never mind. Nope, Evan Atkins is not real. That's the fake guy. David Penyota went out there and spoke about the Kings and the Penguins, 2 teams that Nurse would accept a trade to. So, there you go. Smaller markets, maybe more low-key markets compared to the Edmonton Oilers. Could we see Darnell Nurse and his big, beefy cap hit head over to one of those organizations? And finally, there is another team that I wanted to talk about in this entire situation too. Take a look at this post made on the R Canucks subreddit. The Canucks need to be on Darnell Nurse. Chaos Mission says that's probably the best opportunity the Canucks will have to acquire draft capital by taking a bad contract. I know Nurse has a no move, but maybe coming into a rebuilding team with no pressure to win right now would be good for him to decompress and maybe find his game back. Now, the problem is the Oilers don't have much draft capital. They have a 2028 first and the 2029 first, but that's later. Epic Potato 806 says you're going to have to add sweeteners. I don't think Ryan Johnson is going to give them a freebie like when they took in Evander Kane. Ultimately, though, the idea of the Vancouver Canucks capitalizing on their cap space and weaponizing it to get more assets, this could be a pretty big opportunity to do that. I question whether or not Darnell Nurse and his huge contract is worth taking on at this stage, especially since it's got 4 more seasons left at 925. But if the Vancouver Canucks are fully going to commit to a rebuild, you can say that maybe the price and the positive extra value you can add from a Darnell Nurse trade is outweighing the potential downside of taking on a contract like this. Another reply says, hey, that is such a bad contract, even for a rebuilding team. 4 more years at 925, I know it's sort of a joke, but honestly, I'd want the Oilers' 2028 first-round pick to come with him. Another reply says the big thing with Nurse is that the way he plays is frankly ideal for what a rebuilding team wants. He can eat the ugliest defensive minutes without complaining. He hits, he fights, and he sticks up with his teammates. He's also been a pillar in the community for Edmonton as well, which is currently something that the Canucks Management Group of 2026 values. I'm all for it. Move out Marcus Pettersson, bring in Nurse, a 2028 first, and maybe another pick. The Oilers get an upgrade for cheaper, the Canucks get to meet the cap floor, and gain assets. Yeah, that's actually a pretty reasonable thought. I mean, as long as you are fully willing to take on Nurse and his terrible contract for 4 more years, and that's not even to say that Nurse is a terrible player. He's not great, in my opinion. Like, the numbers, they back them up. 24 points in 82 games. Yeah, okay, that's a normal defenseman. You're not getting anything super amazing out of that. But ultimately, it's defensive responsibility, it's defensive decision-making, it is the tightness that Darnell Nurse exhibits in his own zone that, I'm not going to say needs work. He's 31 years old. It's not like anything can actually be worked on at this point. He's declined. That's it. He's not a $9-point-something million defenseman. He never was. So it's a big contract. It's a big-name player. But it's a player that the Oilers probably did have to move on from. And so for Darnell Nurse to allow trade talks to continue by requesting a trade himself, potentially going over to the Kings or the Penguins, maybe Vancouver can actually get involved here too. This is going to be another one of these big situations to follow over the next few days, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Darnell Nurse trade, where does he go? What's the trade package? And what sweetener do the Oilers add on top of that? Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. And Bye.